Hey, Coach, after watching film from the game on Saturday, is there anything that stood out to you about the second half in general?
We just needed one foul shot to go in regulation. I thought we got some good looks. We 0 for 11 from 3, 19 second chance points. Those types of things we weren't doing in the first half. We got to put together 40 minutes against a team like that. And then lastly, sometimes great players make great shots. And so a couple of Richard shots were kind of like Steph Curry, deep shots that you almost had to run them past half court. So he's not doing that. But I think we're right there. In tight games, you got to make foul shots down the stretch. I thought we got some good looks. We got to make one, and then we got to do a better job on the defensive glass.
Are the foul shots going at practice, or is this a?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Last year, I think we shot in the last 5 minutes of games close to 80% from the foul line, and so a lot of close games. We had won a lot of the close games. Stanford, we struggled a little bit at the end. Cal, we struggled at the end, and in this game, so it's that experience. You got to be able to go out there and knock them down, and there's no way to replicate it other than we're shooting our 50 in practice and do what we've done. We've won some games early on in the year because we made foul shots. So just got to keep plugging away, keep believing.
Are you a guy who believes breaks will even out?
Oh, luck. You got to create your own luck. And I think at the end of the day, we just got to keep working. I think we're close. And I hate to say it. Sometimes you're like, is it better losing by 1 or we're losing by 30? Sometimes that's one of those questions that you kind of got to sleep at night. You bang back and forth, and obviously losing's not acceptable with what we do. But we're close.
Jamal Bay makes a three-pointer. That's creating your own luck.
Yeah, no, I mean, we all have to do a little bit more. We all have to do a little bit better. We're you're running that time mile, and you've hit all your splits until that last slap. You lose it by 3 seconds. We've got to be a little bit tougher. We got to be a little bit grittier. We got to be a little bit more aware, especially at the end of games. I'm going to give you a stat, and it's interesting. In the last 5 minutes of our games in the Pac-12, we have the number one, I think on Ken Palmer, we have the number 1 defensive efficiency in the league. In the last 5 minutes of the games in our league, teams are shooting 72% from the 2-point line, and they're 8 for 11 from the 3-point line. Those are staggering numbers. So what are our numbers up until then? And so the numbers late, that's what we have to do. We have to pick it up. We have to be more aware, and that's where, when we're blocking shots and active through 30 minutes of the game, that last 5 minutes when the games are on the line, that's when it needs to do what? That's when it needs to be elevated, and that goes back to the experience. I remember Oregon State, our first year, we're up 13 with 7 minutes to go. We've got the best defensive player on planet Earth, Matisse Thybulle. And we're playing, and they make, I think it was 6 out of their last 8 threes in Matisse's area, and we ended up losing. Thompson makes a 3-pointer at the buzzer or whatever it was to overtime. Did it to us twice that year. And those were the experiences, because I remember the next time we played them last year at Oregon State, we reminded them, because we were up the same. I think it was, don't forget. And then Matisse was like, I didn't forget. Now Spider-Man goes a little bit, his senses become a little bit more, his spider senses. But that goes back to the learning and understanding. Like, this isn't going to do anything to a guy like Peyton Pritchard next time, if we get another next time. Dejon Davis, the first time you get him late in the clock, it's no, we ain't gonna let him. We never put anything to chance, regardless if it's a high level shot or no. And so that's part of the growing experience. That's part of the ups and downs of winning and losing. The key to the team for me is keep believing. We're right there. We sometimes you gotta take 2 steps back to take a step forward. We gotta just keep moving forward. We gotta keep learning, we gotta keep growing, and we gotta keep competing.
I know the losses are really, really hard, but when you go back and watch the film and
Yeah.
you see Peyton Pritchard travel, not called.
Yeah,
Isaiah Stewart's dunk, foul not called.
yeah,
Ball hits the rim, not called.
yeah.
What's going through your mind? I know in football they make reports after the game. Is that something you do or just leave it alone?
You know what, I do, it's a hard game to officiate. Usually it balances out.
By the way, Kristodiak got fined for criticizing officiating, so
Yeah,
don't wanna get you in
I-
trouble.
Leave him.
you know,
Good job. Leave him on that one.
I think the biggest thing is like, listen, we gotta control our own destiny. You know, I talk to the guys a lot about reversal of fortune. And how do we reverse that? And it's our choice, number one. We've gotta be better. You know, those numbers the last 5 minutes have to get better, or we will keep what? Losing close games. We have to execute a little bit better offensively. It can't be, well, okay, we're tired. That's not acceptable. You know, we gotta get into it quicker. We gotta be more sharp. And that's, you know, as you're growing a program and culturally and everything like that, those are the things that you have to learn to be a great program. So when you're in those close games, you're winning a majority of them, not losing a majority of them.
Do you think you guys are playing at the pace that you want, and if not, is there a reason for that? Is that because you're trying to find Isaiah?
I think at the end of the day, it's like when you have a guy like Isaiah, you know, it goes back to what we've talked about a million times, is when you have a team that's completely trying to surround him, you should be getting better shots, easier shots, and higher percentage shots. What happens to us is sometimes you can't just stare there, you can't stand there and stare at him. You gotta have movement, you gotta have player movement. And I think what happens is late in the game, we got so stagnant because of the situation. What I was saying is you were breaking the press and you were trying to get into a set. And then by the time you got into a set, there was 12, 14, 13, run up, and now how much ball movement can you have? And then you're trying to do this, and you're standing, and it was easier for them to defend. And, you know, and again, with all that being said, you know, we're one foul shot away to winning the regulation. You know, and you know, our defense has been great, but 19 second chance points. So we're playing good defense, but then we're not retaining a lot. That was Houston. That was, you know, and so, you know, personally, we go to Isaiah just like we went to Noah. You know, we're going to go to him. He's a great foul shooter. He's dominant down the post. He is a really good passer out of it. But when we're not going to him, we have to have better movement, better player movement, better ball movement, and that's what we've been working on.
Couple more guys so I can get Marcus in
You got
here.
a chance to see your 2 freshman guards at length. How important are they for these last stretch run down the conference schedule? Now that you've seen them
they're
play.
huge. You know, like watching Raekwon play, he's got an energy to him that's pretty infectious. I think every shot he makes, even though he was whatever he was in the Oregon game, I think every shot he's shooting is going in. I think everybody in the building, everybody on the team thinks it's going in too. And he's been really playing good defense. That's the thing that I've been most proud about him, because without that experience and then coming in and rebounding and playing like that, that's big. And then Marcus, his size, he's got really good instincts. He's a basketball player. Like, he knows angles. He's just got a lot of good natural feel. Knows how to get a shot at the end of a shot clock if he has to. Pretty cerebral in that regard, but still young, you know, still.
So they're critical to going down the stretch.
I think the Marcus thing for me was figuring out the turnover battle. I think his pace calms everybody down. Now again, I don't think that we're running the way that we were when we were going to Hawaii and pushing the ball up, but we've got to be able to adapt. You know, part of our problem was turning it over and playing a little bit too fast. You know, sometimes trying to do too much.
Coach, you talked about.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Coach, you talked about awareness the last 5 minutes, and you said part of that is experience. Is leadership something that is a missing, or that it has to?
I don't know. You know what? It's got to be. It's got to be everything's going to be about, it's got to be about, you can't let affect, okay, if we're not making shots or we're struggling, someone misses a shot on one end and then it's in his mind, he just missed that shot, and then we're playing defense and then the guy makes a shot in his end because he's been thinking about that next shot. So I don't know if that's leadership. I think leadership in this regard, especially on the defensive end, is a personal, everybody has a chance to be a leader. Everybody has a chance, as a responsibility to the team, and then of doing your job. And we have basic rules out of our defense about doing your job. And for our guys, it just needs to be, I think it's a mindset. Do you know what I mean? I don't necessarily, it's Isaiah saying, come on, Lauren, get out there. It's everybody, come on here, man. We got to get this stop. We're up 2. There's 34 seconds left. We got to get this stop. And then we got to finish with a rebound. You know what I mean? It's collective. And do your job. Don't worry about the next play. We got to make this play, And so that's more so, what we're preaching on a day-to-day basis is do your job.
Last one.
Jaden 100%?
No, Jaden, I got to give Jaden a lot of credit too. Jaden probably, I didn't play him against Oregon State. And he's such a tough kid, and he wanted to play, and I gave him the option. He wasn't 100%, and so anyway, getting him healthier will help us. Just coach him. Is she kicking me off the stage? I feel like the gong. Does she have the gong over there? She has the gong. Gong.
All right, thank you.
Everybody good?
Thanks,
Anybody?
Coach. Thank you
All right.
so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.